enough bandwidth to do it. So they would write in the tickets all day long, and then the cop car, the police officer would come back to the station, park, and then he would run into the building and grab an Ethernet cable, and then run out of the building and plug it in to the car, to the computer in the car. And that's how they would sync up their things at the end. So for them, obviously, an application, this is an obvious win for them. They need to get more bandwidth, okay? And that's the key. All right. The argument I give is they say how much bandwidth is too much bandwidth. I mean, if you just start thinking about it in lanes of highway, so dial-up is 56K, equate that to 1 lane of highway, right? 200K would be 4 lanes of highway. 1 meg would be 20 lanes of highway, okay? By the way, in order to get AT&T Uverse, our TV product, do you know how many meg you need? 25 meg to your house. So 25 times 20, 500 lanes of highway into your house. Now, I would argue that if you added another 10 lanes of highway to the Kennedy in Chicago, where people look at you like crazy, but it get filled. That's about this whistle stop. It's about how many lanes of highway can you put into, because the economy is micro, right? How many lanes of highway can you put into everyone's house? Better yet, their house. Put into every person, available when and where they want to use it. So fourth plank. By the way, if the city commits nothing here, that's okay. You got to be able to row the boat in the other planks, right? Everything shifts up and down. Okay. So now you take the combination of those packages and you have to build assumptions. Okay? These are ranges. Obviously, our data is sensitive to us, but essentially take the demographics, bump it against which packages, and then figure out what penetration rates. And that's how you figure out how much you're going to make. Okay? So if the city commits nothing, you take the goose there, right? And what if those are 1%? How many visitors are there going to be? Right? Now the market's shifting a bit, right? Because what we define as visitors is suits, right? The visitors aren't suits anymore. Visitors are kids that come into the ballpark with their PSP. Did you see how many in McDonald's, how many kids are logging in through their Nintendo devices? Yeah, it's huge. So guess what, man? The market changed. I love to think about how we are setting usage patterns against the paradigms of yesterday for the users of tomorrow. Difficult to imagine, okay? But you got to do a business case. We have to float them through. You can only imagine, out of 300,000 employees, I think at least 100,000 in our house review business cases. So I'm kidding. That's AT&T humor. Yeah, no, forget it. Okay, so that's it, revenue components. Okay, cost. So, it really matters, right? So on the other side, this is where, hey, Carl, here's what we want, right? Carl, we want 2.4, we want 4.9, we want 5x. What about WiMAX? Well, thank God we own Spectrum, okay? So we don't have to go out and pay for it, okay? And then, by the way, don't forget the wired connectivity. That costs something. It's another network, okay? Then what about design parameters? Do you know how significant an impact on your design it is to go from 90 to 95%? It is not trivial. Do you know that 1 meg symmetrical is not trivial? So when you ask for these things, remember, they matter. Now look, you got to look for all the right things. Device power. What's the power of a laptop? Anybody know? 35 milliwatts, right? Anybody designing networks to 35 milliwatts? Anybody today designing their Wi-Fi network to 35 milliwatts? Yeah, okay. Now we are, okay, because our labs guys are brutal that way. They make us do it that way. But I'll tell you, it matters. Look in the contracts. Look at some of the contracts that some of the cities have done. And if you design your network to 400 milliwatts, how many people with laptops are going to get on it? Well, only those actually standing underneath the access point, maybe on a stepladder, okay? Or you can go out and buy an endpoint device, what, $50, right? And then have that work. But I guess I would argue if you can spend $50, you might as well go get Singular, right? I mean, at that point. Banked lighting. If your city has banked lighting, don't call. Don't call. Unless your demographics are so off the chart huge, don't call. It is off the chart. It is almost a deal killer. There's a city in Northern California that I can't actually, I don't know if I'm supposed to know the story. So the city topology, the city of San Francisco, how easy do you think it's going to be? There are still areas of San Francisco that don't have cellular coverage. Now imagine trying to put Wi-Fi in there. By the way, you ever want to have a lot of fun, take your laptop, drive down the street, and watch to see how many two-wire devices you see. You know what those are in San Francisco? If it says two-wire, those are AT&T DSL customers who are all broadcasting at 2.4 because the guys at two-wire just took the meter and just went and turned it all the way up. So now imagine competing with that in the unlicensed spectrum. When you design, by the way, at 200 milliwatts. Okay? Applications. God bless my friend, the CIO of Riverside. He's a super guy. He is a super guy. He is I wouldn't say he's a revolutionary as much as he's a leader in the industry. He's going to drop 400 cameras onto our Wi-Fi network at $500K a camera. That's a lot of bandwidth, okay? Now, I love to joke with him that he's doing that because he's trying to put us out of the T1 business. It's his T1 bypass strategy, right? And by the way, you know what he's using for? Traffic flow and control. Because Riverside's a suburb of LA, right? And what do? Well, they turn the lights green going out in the morning, and they turn them green coming back in at night, okay? That's how it goes. All right. So, you know that antennas cost a lot more than you would think. It's one thing, by the way, we're AT&T. You can imagine that I get the very best price for hardware in the marketplace today. I feel confident that I have gotten the very best price in the marketplace today. But antennas still cost something. And I swear to God, I think I'm getting the wholesale price on that, and they still cost more than I want to pay. By the way, do a trio device, and now you got to screw a 2.4 and a 4.9 antenna on it. Okay? And then, God save you, you actually have to put it in. Oh my goodness. I'm intimate because I have to do all the contracts with all of our partners in this space. I am intimate with all of the roles and responsibilities. Our AT&T Labs organization created a 180-page document defining our requirements for installation, for how to build a network, which I managed to work into our contracts. Okay? Some I had to actually bring Malox for our partner because it was a little bit of a struggle for them. But the, God bless them. Hey, I think if you go to a hot dog eating contest, just dip the bun in water, you'll be good, all right? But all of these things cost money, lots of money, adult dollars. Bring your platinum card. Even if you're AT&T, bring your platinum card. I probably don't, you guys all, these are obvious? Yeah? Am I just talking? Yeah? No? Okay. So, operating expense. Well, congratulations, you built it. Now you actually got to run it.